Hello, friend. It's Teresa Haddo here with the Pigeon Letters Design Team. And I am so excited because I just got a new iPad and I have been inspired to play. So you are going to come along for a ride as I create a space dinosaur. So if you've been a member of the flock, if you don't know what the flock is, get with the program. It's a creative community where we all get together and talk about all things art and fun stuff, and it's run by Peggy, and it's amazing. So here I'm just making a new canvas, 9x12. Like I said, this is a new iPad, so I have a feeling this is going to be a standard canvas size. Quite excited about it, and now I'm just looking at the colors, figuring out what I want to use for my sketching. I usually do a sketch layer with the 6B pencil in a random color, because that's what I do. Okay, because we're going to do a space dinosaur, I need a moon reference. So I'm going to hop over to Unsplash and download a picture. Look at me looking at it. Watch me doing something that you should not do. Go in here, save the image. I'm going to figure out that I didn't save the image, but not yet. First, I'm going to add my drawing guide. I like to have an inch grid size, so I just change that to 1 inch, then hit done. Now I'm going to go and try and pull up that reference photo. So I'm going to click reference, but then go to image and import, and it's not there. Why is it not there? Teresa, what did you do? You didn't save it. So go back into where you downloaded it, actually save the image, and then you can pull it up for a reference. Whew, I mean, how many times do you do that? All the time. Okay, so I'm going to adjust this and figure out what part of the moon I want. The moon's not going to be the main subject. The dinosaur is going to be the subject, but the moon is going to be the thing that shows us that the dinosaur is in space. Okay, there's a lot of other accessories that you can add to show it, but I'm choosing the moon. You can choose like a rocket ship if you want, or something else. I don't know. Okay, so I'm outlining the moon shape. And then just adding in little arches where I see there being some more shadow for the craters of the moon. We're not going for perfection here. This is just a sketch layer. Plus, this isn't even the main part of our image, so just have fun. I'm enjoying feeling what this new Apple Pencil feels like. This is the first time that I've ever gotten to use the paper-like. Peggy references it a lot, and it's a screen protector that basically makes your iPad feel like you're writing on paper or drawing on paper, and it's pretty amazing. So I'm just experimenting and drawing some circles because we're drawing the moon, and that's it. And you can get as detailed as you want. I'm going the semi-detailed amount. You know, like I said, the moon isn't the main feature, so I'm not going to spend a ton of time on it, but I do want it to, I don't know. I could just draw a moon from memory, but I thought it was easier to have this reference. So go ahead and close that. Figure out how to do it. Nope, you got to turn it off, Teresa. Turn the reference off. That's how we get it to go away. Okay, so I'm going to add another layer, and we need a dinosaur if we're going to draw a space dinosaur. So I have my favorite animal line drawing book from our dear friend Peggy Dean, and I am going to draw a Brontosaurus. Seriously, if you haven't checked out this book, it's so much fun. Step-by-step details on how to draw so many different animals, and I'm a little obsessed with it. Okay, so to draw a Brontosaurus, we are drawing a half circle, half oval shape for the head, and then we're going to, at the halfway mark, come in a little bit, and that's going to be our little pointy nose of our dinosaur. And then we're going to go down to the neck, and the other side we're going to draw just a line down to also be the neck, and we're going to sketch out the rest of our dinosaur parts here. So we do the neck first, then I'm going to move over a little bit and add in the body. And one of the things that's really great about Procreate and working on a sketch layer is when I mess up the tail 500 times, we get to fix it. So I'm going to go ahead and speed this up a little bit because sketching a dinosaur is fun to watch. But no, I'm not going to speed it up. I changed my mind. So you can see I'm holding my pen very high up. That's because that's what I do when I'm sketching and going lately. And I'm just adding in the shape for the leg. It's kind of like a little zigzag shape. And then the other leg. And then give him his little belly. And my bad attempt at finishing the tail. And again. This is why we have a race. So we're going to go ahead and fix that. And because this is just a sketch layer, the eraser tool, I think, is just on airbrush. I'm not super worried about texture. I'm not worried if I get all the lines erased. It's fine because I'm going to add layers on top of this. So that tail is slightly better. I don't know what it is about a tail. I think I just think about it too much, you know? There we go. Doop, doop, doop. Okay, now we need a front leg. And I want that to be a little bit more curved because it's a little straight. So we're just going to follow the line of the first leg. Look how cute. Then I started adding shadow and I remembered I don't need to do that yet. Okay, so there's that leg and then the back one. And of course we need a little eye and a smile because we're in space and we're happy that we're in space. Okay, so turn the moon back on, and then I'm going to move some stuff around to figure out how I want my dinosaur positioned along with the moon. So I'm realizing that I don't necessarily like the direction that this little dinosaur is facing right now. And I'm moving it around. I decrease the opacity a little bit. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and duplicate it. Oh, no, not delete. Duplicate. And turn off the bottom one. And I'm going to go to freeform and flip it horizontally. And then tweak it a little bit that way. I'm going to switch it over to distort so I can play a little bit with the positions of the hand, or the hands and the feet. No, the feet. Do dinosaurs have hands? Anyway, you know what I'm saying. Front legs and the back legs. There we go. just to play around with my positioning a little bit. Then on top of that, I'm going to add another sketch layer just to get the dimensions not be so distorted, and have my dinosaur facing the other direction. Plus, like I said, this is just me experimenting and playing with all the layers that I now have with this new iPad. My old iPad, I could only have max 9 layers. It was a struggle. Okay, and you can see my sketch, not perfect. I decided that I wanted the dinosaur to be sort of like waving to us in space, like, hey guys, I'm in space. Here's my dinosaur arm, hand, foot. What did we decide? And the back leg, and the other back leg. That tail, man. Oh, and we of course need to have a helmet because we're in space. Okay, I'm gonna move that around a little bit. And move the moon down because we need more dinosaur in our life. Perfect. Okay, now, new layer. We're moving all the sketch layers down to not confuse myself. And we are going to be using the Pigeon Letters ink pack. So I really like this ink pack. It contains my favorite brush that I use pretty much every day, which is Pigeon Letter Monoline. But for this, I'm going to experiment with a couple other brushes. And for the moon, we are going to use the ink bleed. And I'm going to pick a random color. I know I'm supposed to like have a color palette before I go in and like do all the things, but that's not how I work. We won't tell Peggy, even though she lectures me about it often. So I'm going over all the purple lines and line work with the blue and the ink bleed pen. I probably could have made the brush a little bit thicker, but like I said, I was having a lot of fun experimenting and exploring with how the paper like felt with my new iPad. And because we are working with the moon and something in space, we get to remember that perfection is not what we are going for here. There is beauty in the imperfections, and no one knows what space really looks like except for an astronaut. So we're just gonna use our imagination and use this blue to be our dark line and our shading line as we go over this sketch layer. So you notice the more blue that I add, it's going to be like that extra dimension that we saw in the reference photo. So I'm just adding that little detail in because it'll be fun for our final product. See, like here, I totally could have bumped the brush up to a bigger size. And it would have just been a whoop. But there's something satisfying about adding your own shading in. Okay, moon done. Now, dinosaur. Okay, we are going to be switching to the Watery Ink Brush. Ooh, I really like how this brush gets super big and super small. Dreamy. Okay, so again, we're just going over we have a new layer because we are going over our dinosaur sketch. And you can see that I'm not going over the dinosaur sketch as closely as I was with the moon, but that's also because this dinosaur sketch is very sketchy. In just that, like, the lines are not perfect, and if I were to go over this like I did the moon, then, well, you see what the dinosaur would look like. It'd look a little wonky. So we're going to use a little bit more precision with this layer than we did with the moon layer. And we're sort of using the sketch layer as a guide of what I do want to do and what I don't want to do. So I wanted the neck a little bit longer there. The tail looks pretty good. I'm gonna bend this little leg so it looks like he's like waving hello. Like, hello, I'm a space dinosaur. And I'm exploring space. Hello. And then draw the front leg. And the back legs. We're adding in these little circle marks so that you can see that it's like the back leg muscle. Then we have our eyeball and our smile, of course. Let's erase those lines and then clean up, because I was using more of a sketching motion than an outlining motion when I was doing this guy. That's okay. We can clean it up. It's looking pretty good. All right, let me fix his back leg a little bit. So it doesn't look as much as like a sketch line. And it's just a little bit more solid. and seeing what looks better, fixing up and tidying up my line work, and now adding the helmet to our dinosaur, and then realizing we need a little more room. Not quite. So I'm gonna move our dinosaur down a little bit, just down a little bit. There we go. Over. Okay. Now I'm gonna go ahead and add the helmet. And that's just it's gonna be a circle. You can let the iPad draw the circle for you. I opted to draw the circle myself and fill in the line work. You do whatever makes you feel happy. Some details to our helmet. These are basically just rectangular things stacked on top of each other. And I think we're ready to work on adding some color. Okay, we can turn off our drawing guide, go to a new layer. We want the layer to be underneath our outline, so we're going to move it all the way to the bottom. And this is going to be our background color. I'm going to be making a planet color, and so I'm going to be turning on the moon layer as a reference, but something's going wrong, so let's go back, and look, my line here isn't filled in all the way, so let's fix that. Match the color, fill in the line. Okay, now go to the layer on top, pick the color I want for my moon, and fill it in. And then fill in the plants. And because we have the moon layer as the reference layer, the layer on top is the one that is getting all of the stuff done to it, but then we can add like clipping masks and fun textures on top. So I'm going to go into the Pigeon Letters Grit pack and the spray noise, and in a slightly darker pink color I'm going to just add in a little bit of shading inside the turquoise lines. And again, this is just to add a little bit more dimension and fun to our planet, moon, whatever we have decided this was. So I'm really just playing around with the different grittiness as I'm doing some shading. It's really helping us give the definition to the craters in the moon and planet. And then you can see where I'm going to I'm using an airbrush eraser or soft brush just because I don't care about the lines matching the texture. And so I'm just cleaning that up so it's all inside of that little crater shape that we made. And then we're going to go ahead and repeat that on the clipping mask layer for the rest of the craters. Now I am adding another layer on top of the outline layer, and I'm going to add some gritty texture to that as well. And that's just going to be in a little bit of, it almost matches the background layer, but not quite. Okay. Then I'm going to do another clipping mask and a color that is slightly lighter than everything. I'm going to go ahead and bump up the size of that brush and then just blast it all over the planets so it gets a nice texture. But you'll see that it does sort of diminish some of that shading that we did, so I'm going to go ahead and pop it down below the first clipping mask so we can still see all that shading that we like. So fun. Okay, so now I'm going to go into my monoline pen. I have started a layer mask on our outline layer to get rid of that tail, and we're going to do it again on the planet. And the reason why we're doing a layer mask right here is because if we decide to move the dinosaur later, we can add in that texture and line back super easily, as opposed to if we erased it, then we couldn't do that. And if we wanted to move our dinosaur later, it wouldn't work. Sort of like whatever I just tried to do, that it didn't work. So now our dinosaur is ready for coloring. Woo! So I'm going to reference my dinosaur, start a new layer. I want him to be an orangey yellow, so he's going to be. And I did something wrong, so we're going to try again. Reference, yes. Oh, that's what it is. There's a little tiny opening right here that we gotta close. Excuse me. Close, please. Okay, now it should work. Go back up to layer 17. Please name your layers if you are that type of person, please. Okay, good. Onto the foot, onto the back foot. Yay, we have a dinosaur. Okay, turn the reference off. And a new layer with a clipping mask. I'm going to be using the sketch pen, and I'm going to be adding in just a little bit darker of a yellow orangey color to to add in some shadow. So behind the leg here and here. And then right underneath the helmet, there will be some shadow on this front leg right here. Oh, and then I just realized if the shadow's coming from the front, then the shadow won't be on the back leg right there. So let's go ahead and adjust. Always think about your light source. So my light source is going to be coming from the left hand side, making a shadow on everything on the right. So right underneath the little smiley face. Fun, fun, fun. Okay, then I'm going to turn the helmet into a reference and add in the little color details for that. It can be any color that you want. I'm feeling like a space helmet has gray right there. And then clipping mask on top, slightly darker color to add the shadow underneath that one and the one on top. Just following the helmet. I'm gonna color in the helmet. I'm also gonna move it down so it's behind our dinosaur. Beautiful. Okay, now I'm going to get a color that's a little bit darker and then do the outline. And then remember where the light source is and realize, no, the outline doesn't go on this side, Teresa. What are you thinking? Please start again. Oh, the joys of Procreate and being able to click undo. Woo! I'm available for jingles at any time. Okay. We have a new layer and we're going to drop it. We're going to have it be a clipping mask to what is our background layer. And it's basically going to be our shadow that we're adding behind our dinosaur. So make sure you're on the right layer. So that's always a fun challenge for me. I don't know why. And then we are essentially just outlining our outline with a shadow. I'm not sure what it is about this process, but adding the shadow is just so satisfying. Get to the tail part that we need to add some shadow to. We're going to go ahead and add a new layer. It's going to be a clipping mask. I'm going to make it a little bit darker, and we're just going to follow the line underneath. Make it a little bit darker so it shows up. Then we still have our little shadow line right there. Yay! All right, then we want a little light reflection in our helmet. And I think our dinosaur is done. Now I'm going to go and rewatch one of Kelly's tutorials from the design team so she can show me how to animate this dinosaur so he can wave. Oh wait, I forgot the most fun part. You have to check out this stamp brush in the Pigeon Letters Grit Pack, the Stardust. Oh, it goes so well with space dinosaurs. Okay, so I'm adding in this. It needs to be bigger stars. Okay, I'm adding in the Stardust in the background, making sure it's the back layer. That's a little too much stars, so we're going to take some of those away. Anyway, I'm going to play with the background. I'm going to go reference Kelly's animation video so I can learn how to make my dinosaur wave hello while he's in space. Make sure you share the space dinosaur that you made because I have to see it. And thanks for following along on the fun. Ready? Ooh, space dinosaur. Ready? Ooh, space dinosaur. Space dinosaur. Woo, space dinosaur. Okay, that's it. Bye.